Hey, Mike with Nerd Problems Gaming here, and today's video I'll be doing an unboxing of the board game Brass Empire, so let's get into it. Alright, so now that we got the game out, let's jump in and see what's inside. And so again, Brass Empire is a deck building game for 1 to 5 players, and it takes about 60 minutes to play. But the game itself is really about a steampunk world where you're playing as different corporations that are trying to amass wealth and be the top corporation. And you'll do so by collecting brass, which is a precious resource for these different corporations. And so again, the gameplay is pretty simple. You'll be constructing decks and acquiring new units and new buildings that you'll use to gather brass and again protect your corporation. And so we've got some different cool tokens here representing the brass. And again, depending on how many players you have, you'll be fighting over set number of brass. Looks like it also has some dice. These work as damage counters on the different units. A bunch of extra bags, so that's always nice. But again, let's jump into the cards. So again, like I said, you've got these different employees, and they'll give you abilities to recruit and buy new employees. There's also options for construction, so you'll be able to construct different buildings. On top of that, you'll have mining operations, and so when you use your units to kind of attack an enemy of sorts, attack their corporation, you'll be able to gather more brass, which again will help you win the game. And so once the brass is all completely taken, you'll basically have your final turn, and then again the player with the most brass at the end of that will win the game. There's also some different variants within the game as well. Kind of almost seemed like Magic the Gathering-esque, or something like Hero Realms or Star Realms, where you're not only trying to recruit an army here, build up employees, gain brass, but also damage the enemy and kind of removing their health. So there's several options to play the game. I haven't played it myself yet, so I'm excited to check out the game once I've had some more time to play it and see how it all works. But again, that's the general idea. Now what's really cool is it sounds like there's definitely a lot of ways and strategies that could potentially lead you to victory. For example, you might create a bunch of units and then they'll be able to mine for that brass. You might create a bunch of buildings to help you gain that brass or outwit your opponents. Maybe you have a lot of units to defeat your enemies to make sure that they aren't able to mine for brass or defeat your buildings. Where again, you can see at the bottom here, cards will have health points as well as attack power. And so again, you might be using your different units to harm the other player, destroy their buildings, and various things like that. On top of that, there's a bunch of different corporations you'll be able to choose from. And so I think depending on which ones you pick, that can definitely alter your play style. Looks like these are probably the basic ones that you start with here. Go through those a little faster. But again, the world itself is kind of a steampunk atmosphere. And so again, you'll be fighting each other throughout this steampunk universe, creating buildings and acquiring technology that fits into that art style and kind of genre. So that's just another cool element that you'll see, kind of technologically advanced, but also kind of steampunkish at the same time. And again, looks like there's different colors for the factions, as you can see. And then different bodyguards, different buildings that you can have, like a dockyard, different types of warriors you can recruit, and again, much more. Again, here you have your mining platforms. These will activate throughout your turns, and then again you can use those to mine for the brass, which give you points at the end of the game. Again, there's some cards as well as you get them. Not these basic ones, obviously, but others will have a brass value that can add to your total brass at the end of the game. Kind of reminding me of like games like Clank, where certain cards will be worth points at the end of the game. Well, again, that's Brass Empire. It looks like a really cool deck building game set in this steampunk universe, and so I'm excited to check it out. But definitely stay tuned for a future video when we do a full review on the game once we've had some more time to play it. But again, if you like what you see and you want to pick up a copy, there'll also be on the link in the description below where you can do so. And if you use our code NerdProblemsGaming at checkout, you'll actually get 10% off your order on picking up the game as well. But again, if you like deck building games and that steampunk atmosphere, I think you'll like this game as well, and it's definitely worth checking out. Well, again, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. And if you'd like to pick up a copy of this game, there'll be a link in the description below where you can do so. And if you use the promo code NerdProblemsGaming at checkout, you'll actually get 10% off your order and help support the channel at the same time. And if you want to help support the channel, pick out content and more, become a patron of ours over at nerdproblemsgaming.com/Patreon. And another really cool way you can help support the channel is we actually partnered with a game store. So if you like things like Pokemon cards, Magic cards, board games, and more, you can actually head to nutmeggames.com/nerdproblemsgaming or use our promo code NerdProblemsGaming at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your order and help support the channel at the same time. And again, if you like videos like this on video games, board games, and everything nerdy, check out one of our other videos here. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.